Yeah, super excited. Just can't hide it. Woo! Oh yeah, super excited. But yeah, hey, thank you all for tuning in to my live stream. I'm super excited. As you can tell, about tonight's game at Green Bay. The Lions are going over there tonight on prime time on Amazon for all of us watching here in Florida. And for the rest of you watching in Detroit, you actually get to watch it on Fox 2 Detroit. Lucky you, you don't even have to have an Amazon subscription. But for the rest of us here, abroad, loyal Lion fans, we got to have an Amazon subscription to watch the game tonight. Very excited. 8:30. Let's go. That's why I'm doing this now, because I'm going to be watching that game. Super pumped. Definitely my attire. Hopefully, my boy Kirby Joseph actually gets to play tonight. He's listed as questionable. We'll see how that goes. And, yeah, just pumped, Like, even if he doesn't play, I love the next man mentality, next man up, Like, I love our depth at there. Tracy Walker, and then Brian Branch has been going off wherever position he plays, nickel, safety, free safety, strong safety, all that jazz. And, yeah, super excited. But yeah, I just want to say that it's going to be a tough game tonight, for sure. Even though our most recent matchup with them was last year, Week 17, as it was Aaron Rodgers' last day as a Packer. We beat him. It was fantastic. My boy Kirby Joseph had the key interception of the game to seal the game. Loved it. I'll remember that play all the time. That was fantastic. But let me list some key injuries that are out tonight. We have our guard Vita Vea. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. I feel bad. I always butcher it, but he's out. He's a key for our depth at the O-line. Also, we have Matt Nelson out at offensive tackle. But luckily, at questionable, we have Taylor Decker. We'll see if he plays. It'd be great if he does. If not, back to the next man up mentality. I wonder where they put Penny Sewell at. Also, we have David Montgomery as questionable. I hope we just ease him in, not rush him in. Like for me, it's a long haul. I want him for the long, and we got enough back depth that we can split the carries in a great committee of touches surrounded around, especially with Gibbs and even Craig Reynolds, who can bounce back. Also, we have Jonah Jackson as questionable, another offensive lineman key, and hopefully we'll see. Even if he's out, it's gonna be, we'll see what's up. But the other side is injuries too, that we can't forget about. And I don't want to hear this whole business from Mike Tirico about an asterisk on the game, no matter who comes out on top, because the injuries is part of the game. This is a game of attrition, okay? So I don't want to hear that. I'm not putting that. I'm just listing the injuries for you all before the game, just to give you – and then we'll see what actually turns out, who actually plays. That'd be cool to see, from the questionable status. But for the Packers, we have their linebacker Campbell is out. Now we can't have the battles of the matchup between the Campbells. And I wanted to see that from our rookie linebacker. And Campbell's been a stud turnover machine last year. And it sucks he's been out for the Packers, depth at linebacker. And then also for their all-line, they have David Barkatari. Barkatari, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Barkatari. He's not on my team, so I'm not too worried about it. He's out. And also they have Jenkins is out at the O-line position. So, both sides of both teams have O-line issues tonight. So I don't want to hear any of that one over the other. Packers for the questionable, Aaron Jones. I don't know if anyone saw, he actually looked pretty fantastic practicing before the game last week, before the New Orleans game at their home. I think he might actually play. He looks pretty healthy. Also, Christian Watson is that questionable. We'll see if he plays. They'll probably ease him in, not feed him too heavy. And also Jair Alexander. So they have three key. Those are some big names there that they have on the questionable list. We'll see if they play. I actually believe all three will play. We'll see. If they don't, and we'll see how it goes. But other than that, my pick for the game is going to be the Lions. I think until proven otherwise, I got to see the Packers beat us. We beat them. Swept them last year. So this is the battle of the NFC North. Let's go. I'm excited. And I hope the feed it sounds good for everybody. And it looks great because I'm excited. It looks, for me, what I'm looking at, it looks great. But not to get distracted with that. Back to it. I'm picking the Lions tonight. Okay? That's what's happening. And I believe it's going to be a tough game. And it's going to be a knit grit. Feels like the NFC Central days back in the day. That's why I'm wearing this. It's a good old rivalry game. You know, I can't stand the Packers. You know, and I have a lot of family members that are. I'm not going to say names. You know, I understand. You know, it was rough years with the Lions. You know, it goes on and on and on. But, hey, the ones that stuck through, you know, hey, I welcome all new Lions fans. Let's go. You know, come on in. Come on to Mini. You know, we have a fantastic organization top to bottom. Starting ownership, Sheila Hamp. And then we also have our Brad Holmes, the GM. And then we got our president, Rob Wood. And then our head coach, Dan Campbell. Don't even get me started. Defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. Offensive coordinator, Johnson. Fantastic. Top to bottom. I don't know how you can not. And our colors. Just look at the colors. I mean, come on. You can't pass it up. All right, now I get distracted. All right. So I'm picking the Lions to win the game. It's going to be knit grit. Let's go. Let's see how it goes. I think it's going to be a lot of rush attack. Sam Laporta had a great game coming out party last week with 84 yards and a touchdown. Let's see if he can keep that going. Luke Musgrave, their key rookie tight end. Our teams are kind of built similar in certain senses. And I'm sure he'll have a major game. And, let's go. Let's freaking go. But, let's move on. Now, I'm very excited for next week. A set of games or this Sunday coming up. It's going to be, there's always some rough picks for me. It was hard, and but I stride through. I went on through, and I got them all here for you right now. And for the first game, Falcons at Jags in London, I'm going to pick Jacksonville because it's like home territory for them. Even though they're not that team, they go there every year. They have their signed contract with them, and they're always going. So they're used to that long flight for back and forth that affects you, that jet lag, famous song out there. You can check it out. But overall, Jacksonville, I'm picking them and Falcons. I think it's gonna be a tough game. We'll see who prevails over top. And otherwise, let's in terms of matchup, I think Robinson will have a game. I think Tank Bigsby, will shine a little more. Use more than a goal line back. Also for Atlanta, I think hopefully they actually use Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I think Desmond Ridder will show out. I think he might put possibly 2 touchdowns. I see. I think the game could be a little. Even though both got solid defenses, I think both had some key injuries. But Jesse Bates, you could bang. I roll a dice. He's probably going to have an interception based on what happened last week with the Lions. I believe he'll pick off Trevor Lawrence. But I still think Jags will prevail. And Calvin Ridley, I don't think he'll be stopped, even with A.J. Terrell on the opposite side for the Falcons. I think Christian Kirk also, they just don't have enough to keep up with the weapons of Jacksonville. But also vice versa, we've said. But I just haven't seen the Atlanta Falcons actually use all their offensive weapons to their fullest capabilities. Say the Kyle Pitts, the Drake London. So we got to see from that. So until then, I'm picking Jacksonville because you can't just keep feeding Robinson the ball and think you're going to win in this league. But hey, if he does, we'll see how far it goes. But once they start actually fighting their rivalry opponents that have real legit defenses like the Saints, I'm not banking on it. But otherwise, let's move on from that. We have the Rams at Colts for the start of the 1:00 games. Let's go. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm picking Indianapolis Colts after beating the Ravens last week in overtime. I thought it was a great matchup. But the Rams, had a tough loss on Monday night. Their O-line was giving up a lot to the D-line of Cincinnati as they're racking up the sacks of Stafford. And that's the thing. If he gets pressured, it's over. He's not mobile. But if you give him time, he's the best out there, the strongest arm. And that's why he's on the wall. All right? So it sucks picking against him. It's hard for me. It's hard, but I gotta go with it. So far, I just want to say I'm 11-5. Okay, based on last week, I just went over it. I showed you all my team picks. You can reference that back in my other video for my week 3 picks. I got it there, proof in the pudding. 11-5, and I'm proud. We'll see how I go. It's gonna be tough. This was my hardest week compared to the last week, and I know it's only 2 week samples, but hey, I'm going with it. And let's go. Also, if you haven't, definitely subscribe to my channel, Dave and Sports Convo, and or share to anybody you know. Getting this off the ground, super excited just to actually show everybody my actual true Lions fandom that the mainstream media will not cover. But other than that, let's tail it back to the Ravens at Cleveland Browns. I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens in this rivalry game. I think it's going to be tough. As you saw in my power rankings prior, I had the Cleveland Browns listed at 6 above the Lions, which was painful, but I did based on the scores that they've been outscoring opponents and blowing them out, especially as they did Cincinnati and Tennessee. That was a tongue twister there. But I'm picking the Ravens on this, and I think Lamar will have a bounce back. Sucks they still dealing with the J.K. Dobbs deficit to the run game, but Zay Flowers still can shine. Mark Andrews still hasn't get fed to the fullest abilities that we know, but he should shine. And then on the Cleveland side, we'll see. Jerome Ford had a great game for Nick Chubb being out. Showed he could be a lead back. Did sufficient. All the other receivers, you wish, at least Deshaun Watson, the connection, it got to be better. But Amari Cooper had a heck of a week last week. So at least that's there, but you can count on Cooper to be productive. But for all the other guys, People Jones should shine in certain key moments. But other than that, I'd wait and see. But so far, it's hard for me, even though they just came off that blowout with Tennessee, I'm picking Baltimore. So moving on from that, let's go with Minnesota Vikings at Panthers. These are both winless teams. It's crawling for their first win of the season. Minnesota was in this situation last week as they didn't seal the deal at home against the Chargers 28-24. But I'm going to stick with the Vikings. I picked the Vikings last time. I was wrong. That was one of my key of the 5 picks that I got wrong last week out of 16. But I'm going to roll with them again. I believe even if Andy Dalton plays the Red Rifle or Bryce Young, I think the Vikings have a slightly better team just because I'm giving the NFC North slate credit over the NFC South. That's how I view this, But otherwise, they're fighting for the number 1 pick, like what the team wants to do. I know the trade rumors are already spewing out. You heard it from me first about Kirk Cousins going to the Jets. We'll see. But it makes sense. Let's start the rebuild now for the Vikings. Let's blow it up. Rebuild. All right, that's what Minnesota needs to do. They didn't keep Dalvin Cook. They already told you how they felt about winning and key other things of upgrades, and I feel bad criticizing them after they were the NFC champs or NFC North champs last year. But hey, they're winless right now. They got to show something. So but I'm picking with them. I think this will be their first win. Otherwise, it's full on. Let's go. Move Kirk Cousins on. Let's go to the Jets. Give them everything you got. Not to focus on that. Now let's go Cincinnati at Tennessee Titans. I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. You would think that, but I'm gonna stick with Cincinnati, even though they won the Monday night. It seemed like a crawl. It was like a fight with the Rams. It was like it could have gone any way, even though some people might think Cincinnati had the lead all the way. The receivers are going to be hard to keep up with for Tennessee. Derrick Henry didn't have a good game. That Cleveland Brown, it was a punch in the face. So it's hard to pick Tennessee at the moment. Let's go with the Cincinnati Bengals on that one. But Tennessee, hopefully, they can show something. The AFC South is open for grabs. So let's go. This is, if you want it, this is the time. Like the Bengals seem, Joe Burrow. I don't know how he looks hurt, so I don't know why they keep playing. We'll see how it goes. I mean, he's the future, so just sign that big contract. He's the highest paid quarterback. We all know. And if you didn't, maybe that's the guy he is. But if you think that, then why you should protect him. And right now he's not. If the Rams are getting to him, Aaron Donald, that was a scary hit. But, so moving on from that, now we have a key rivalry game of the NFC South. We have the Tampa Bay Bucks at New Orleans with Jameis Winston starting for Derek Carr injured shoulder. We'll see how that goes. I believe Jameis can fit right in. He's shown that capability. He was a high draft pick. He's playing his former team. I think it's going to be a great game back and forth. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield fight. These teams are fighting. It's a rivalry. They have ties. It goes back, and and we'll see what comes up. I'm picking the Saints. They lost based on a field goal miss at Green Bay, and that's what Green Bay's just putting their hat on, So that's why I'm picking the Lions over. But yeah, so the Saints, I'm picking the Saints over Tampa Bay. That should be a great game to see. Defense of the Saints, I prefer the Bucks. Even the Bucks with Devin White is great. With Levante David, and even their corners are fantastic. Antonio Winfield, he's the man, Junior. But yeah, moving on from that, my favorite game of the week that I am most excited to see, Miami at Buffalo. The fight for the AFC East. And I think my pick for MVP, Tua, is going to shine. And this is the defense to shine against, because everybody's trying to list Tua against the bad defense while he's racking it up. No. He's racking it up because he's been in the system. He knows what's up. It's time. It's time for Miami to shine. And I'm picking Miami over Buffalo. And it's going to be at Buffalo, so there won't be no heat excuse that Josh Allen complains about over and over and over. And lucky for Buffalo. So then the Miami game, when they play at when they play at Miami, won't have that heat advantage, or that they so say. Should be a slightly good temperature. We'll see how it is. Down here, you never know the temperature. But let's go. But yeah, Miami or Buffalo. They should flex that game to the Sunday night game on NBC, because it's Jets Kansas City. Me personally, I don't want to see Kansas City just beat the brains out of the New York Jets. I think New York Jets defense might step up or something, but that offense is dreaded. And you saw the sideline how Garrett Wilson was acting and all that, and even Carter. So yeah, I'm going with. I think they should flex that game into that slot and bring that down, because Sunday night, it's one game. We all have to share it together. Okay? Do get the best out there. And I know it's early in season. That's the rules. You don't usually flex at this point in time, but they should change that up. All right? We know what's going on right now. Okay? We could change it up. Let's do it. All right. But not good to worry about. But I'm picking Miami. If you didn't hear, I'm picking Miami over Buffalo. And, yeah. So moving on from that, let's go with another winless battle. Denver Broncos at Chicago Bears. Yeah. It's going to be a tough game to watch. I'm glad that's not the Sunday night game, as I was just speaking about. Imagine that, and they're forcing that down your throat. Whew. Lucky we dodged a bullet. But other than that, that was a tough pick. It's a flip of a coin. You should pick veteran quarterbacks, I guess. I'm going to pick the home team, and I'm picking the NFC North because I give credit. The NFC North is a talented division compared to other divisions, so that's how I view it. Denver just had a historic give so much points, 70 points, and then we got beaten by 50. That's just, that's hard. I mean, maybe they'll bounce back. It's a wake-up call, but that's hard. I mean, Cameron Sutton had the 2 fumble turnover, and, he had an impressive touchdown game, but, yeah, it was hard to watch, Russell Wilson, he's moving it, but, other than that, it's what's going on there? But, yeah, so I picked the Bears, but that's going to be a tough game. So for both you fan bases, you enjoy that game. The rest of us, what you're going to be watching. Washington at Eagles. I am rooting for Washington on this one. They beat them last year. They were the team to beat them last year. I think they will be the team to do it again to end their win streak. I've been picking against the Eagles so far, and I've been wrong, but I'm going to stick to it. Even though I love Philadelphia, I love DeAndre Swift, I love Jalen Hurts, and and I bring it up all I like AJ Brown, he had over 100 yards last week, and DeAndre Swift was a bell cow, and you wish you would have done with the Lions, but you love him doing it just in general. I root for the guy, but yeah, picking Washington. I think their pass rush with Montez Sweat leading the way. Is going to get some, even though that O-line's good. I think Washington's got a number. It's a rivalry game, so let's go. And they just they had their loss, but I think they'll have a bounce back. They're 2-1. Let's go. Even though they got blown up by Buffalo, 37-3. Let's freaking go. Washington. I'm picking against the grain. So let's move on to the next game. We got Pittsburgh at Houston. This was a tough game for me to pick, believe it or not. I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers based on their most recent win and how they came out. That defense looked great. T.J. Watt looked fantastic. Even though Houston, the Tank Dell, C.J. Stroud connection showed was great. I think Jacksonville isn't Pittsburgh. And I know a lot of people thought they would be in the same grain, and they're not at the moment. So Pittsburgh, with Kenny Pickett actually evolving to the receiver we all know he is, with that Deontay Johnson out, and then Pat Freiermuth doing great, and then Jaylen Warren with his key little speed runs. I'm picking Pittsburgh over Houston. I think it's going to be a tough recipe to stop. I think Pickett's got a little more experience this route, so I'm just going to go with that. And I'm not going to use that as a measurement all the time, but for this time, I will. And I'm picking Pittsburgh. But I like Houston where they're going. And I think they can take the AFC South with just that combo of Tank Dell and CJ Stroud. So let's go. I think so. And then D'Amico Ryans. He's one of my favorite linebackers of all time. All right, let's go. And so let's kick it off here. I think everything's sounding good. I'm super excited to do more of these live streams with you all watching. Super happy to celebrate. Let's go. So this is what everybody needs. They need the real perspective of a Lions fan before a game, going into the game, after the game, during the game. And you can check that all on my Instagram profile, Dave and Sports Convo, and here on this channel. But yeah, moving on, not to get distracted. We also have the Las Vegas Raiders at Los Angeles Chargers. This was tough to pick. Rivalry game here. I think, and a lot of people are a little low in Las Vegas, but I liked him. Devontae Adams with his 13 catches and over 100 yards, 2 TDs. Looking great, looking hard to stop. He's going to rack it up. This is the game he's definitely going to rack it up on. The Chargers have been giving up points heavy. So it was a tough pick, but I'm going to go Chargers. I think Herbert is the better quarterback. I think he'll, keep the offense afloat compared to Garoppolo, but Garoppolo was showing shine, like I was just listening. And Josh Jacobs will be unleashed in one of these games, and this might be the game. And Austin Eckler's listed his question, so hopefully he bounces. But if he does, then the Chargers are a real great team because in the run game's going, that passing game you have to honor. Even with Mike Williams out for the season, they have depth at receiver with Palmer stepping into that, and their most recent first-round draft pick, Quentin Johnson. So, yeah, and then their tight ends are great. So they got it all around. But yeah, moving on to that, let's go with the Arizona Cardinals at San Fran for Niners, as I picked the Cardinals last week to beat the Cowboys, which I was happy about that. I was feeling that was a tough wild card pick, but I picked it. I stuck to my gut. On this one, you'd think I'd go Cardinals again, but no. I'm going to go with San Fran for Niners. Until they're beaten, I had to see it. And you think I would be saying that about Philadelphia, as I was talking about them earlier. 49ers are a more complete team in my fashion, even though the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. Now, if Brock Purdy just stays through the course, this is the team. They're loaded. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is a difference maker at running back compared to a DeAndre Swift, as mentioned earlier. So I'm staying with 49ers, and I don't see the Cards stopping him compared to Pollard. Pollard had over 122 yards last week. So it's just, yeah. I mean, he's going to go off. Let's go. Christian McCaffrey. Fantastic player. And then you got George Kittle. We go on. And then Brandon Ayuk, he's questionable. If he plays, oh my gosh. It's just, the Cardinals don't have the defense to stop that. Now, we have the Patriots at Cowboys as the last slate of our 4 o'clock games. This one should be interesting. The Patriots just coming off their win over the Jets 15-10. And then we had the Dallas Cowboys coming off their loss to the Cardinals. I'm choosing the Cowboys in this. Unfortunately, it pains me to pick them, but I'm picking the Cowboys to bounce back. I think they got a little taste of medicine, but now at home, they'll bring it. And the New England Patriots offense has not shown great strides when they needed to. Luckily, they sealed the game last week with their tight end touchdown from Brown, who I didn't know prior to the game. So we'll see. I think the Cowboys, Micah Parsons, Arizona revealed how to slow him down. You have to make him think about what pass rush move to do if he's doing a run play or not. Make just that half a second difference can save your team. And super excited for the game. I appreciate the hat compliment. I'm rocking the old school. That's how I feel about this rivalry game. Even though I'm sweating in it, I'm rocking it, okay? This is, rocking it. All right, so, but other than that, let's move on. The Sunday night game that I'm going to dread and drag my feet to watch. If you're a Chiefs and a Giants fan, will enjoy. And maybe not if you're a Giants fan. It's going to be a hard watch maybe, as the Jags fans have felt recently. And the Bears. Whew, that was tough. Poor Bears. But yeah, so Chiefs at New York Jets. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think it's hard to say. Travis Kelce is rocking with Pat Mahomes and the connection. And it can't be stopped. So I see it stop me. But the Jets have a great defense that could stop it. But that offense is dreadful with Chris Jones rocking and stepping up. And yeah, so I'm picking the Chiefs. I think that's a no-brainer. As for the Seattle Seahawks at New York Giants, another game at New York. You gotta love how the NFL plans this out to set these great events up. So for Monday Night Football, we have, that's why they probably won't flex the game at all too. We have Monday Night Football. We have the Seattle Seahawks with the New York Giants, as I repeated earlier. It was a tough pick for me. I'm doing the pick now. Actually, I'm doing it right now, and I'm gonna pick the New York Giants because I picked against the New York Jets. Let's go with the New York Giants, and that's all I'm going. And the Seahawks are a great team, and that's gonna be a hard stop. But I think give a little credit to the Giants at home. I think they'll bounce back. Let's go. New York's got some stuff happening. Daniel Jones, I still believe in, and Darius Slayton can open it up. And yeah, and then for the Seahawks, it's gonna be a great game to see. So I'm very excited for that. And but yeah, so very excited. It was tough. I didn't know how the game. I felt like that game was the hardest to judge. It's just like it was like kind of my least info, but I went with it. And yeah, but I do now that all my picks are done and revealed for the NFL Week 4. I do appreciate y'all tuning in, and I hope the live stream came out great and well. I do want to say I'm going to go live again, and for my live reactions to an actual NFL game for the Toy Story Funday, the first ever Funday football that's going to be airing at 9:30 a.m. as the game is in London. And it will be on Disney Plus for the version I'm going to watch. If you want to watch the standard version, you watch it on ESPN Plus. But for the Disney Plus viewers, it's going to be great to see the players rendered in a Pixar fashion and the Toy Story characters covering it. I'm a huge Toy Story fan and very excited. And I hope they keep on doing this for Infinity and beyond. And excited for it. I'm definitely going to be covering it live. I think it's a historic moment and a historic game to cover. And other than that, I'll be doing my reactions on Instagram afterwards for the just the Sunday week itself, and on my Instagram. And then on Monday morning, I should be having out my video of the recap of the Sunday games, and just to give you my analysis of how I felt of all the teams and how they went and the key performers of those set games. And then Tuesday morning, I'll be having my podcast out for episode 3 as I update my power rankings after the set NFL Week 4 games are all set in the books, and also be giving a recap of the Monday Night Football game. And so yeah, excited for that. And then Wednesday I will go live instead of this Thursday, because I was this Thursday super excited for the Lions game and glad the test stream works out. Now that I know this, I feel super confident. So next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will definitely go live and reveal my game picks for the NFL Week 5 games. And super excited for that. Hopefully my record stays afloat. Right now I'm at 11-5, and hopefully I stay positive after these next set of games. So thank you all for tuning in and checking me out on this channel's live stream. And my channel is Davin's Sports Con. I'll definitely subscribe and set the notification bar. I'm super excited for future content, and thank you all for joining me on this pleasant journey as I'm displaying my Lions fandom to the world that the mainstream media is not covering correctly. And you know who you are. Shout out. Thank you all.